First story. My husband turned into a monster after he caught me cheating and discovered my pregnancy, which I did to avoid his high as X drive. Now he has beaten up my affair partner, lashed out at my parents after they blamed him for my actions, and he has abandoned me. How can I make him feel for me? Plus husband's response. This is going to be a bit long, but this is acting as a way for me to vent and ask for other wayward advice in fixing my marriage. It's been going on for 7 months since my husband discovered my affair. The both of us are 39, and my husband before discovery was sweet. He's not a perfect man. He has his quirks, but I was his world. Our family was his world. He worked long hours to make sure I stayed home and raised our son and daughter. He would always do these sweet things just to brighten my day, and it did. My husband was the opposite. In high school, he was rude, charming, and obnoxious, used to get into a lot of fights, and had a lot of girlfriends. And yet for some reason, the summer before senior year, he wanted to talk to me. I was the nerdy girl into video games, comic books, and cosplay. He was always nice to me, ever since he moved into our town in 8th grade. He was different, his family was different, and everyone wanted to hang out with him. I was invited to my first party because of him. He taught me how to dance salsa, and then he fell with the popular crowd, and I thought that was it. But that summer he walked into the comic shop I was working in and just hung out all day talking to me, and even walked me home. One day became many, and we were dating by summer's end. I had the greatest senior year of my life. I was part of the popular crowd, and I went to so many parties, but my favorite moment was when it was just the two of us. Of course, I never slacked off. I studied hard, and I made him study with me. We both got into the same college, and we were married shortly after graduation. Our son came a year and a half later, and our daughter 20 months after that. My husband worked hard for us during all this. He had trouble finding a job because he had no experience. So he worked odd jobs in construction, grave digging, janitorial, and as a receptionist, until he found a company that would give him a chance as a computer tech. My husband put on a lot of weight during that time, but it never decreased his sexual appetite. As for me, I kept my figure and maintained it, and soon we looked like a cartoony couple. A fat yet muscular man with a slender, fit wife. We even dressed as Barney and Betty Rubble one Halloween that emphasized that cliché. It's not like he didn't work out. He just had a hard time losing the body fat. But his sexual appetite was always high. For me, it was decreasing. It's not like I didn't want to have sex. It's just that I wasn't in the mood. And as the years passed, I wasn't in the mood for sexual favors as well. I was always tired. The kids really drained me. Cooking and cleaning really drained me. Yes, he did help with the laundry, cooking, and cleaning. I made sure Saturday was takeout day and Sunday was daddy cook day. But I was still tired and not in the mood. I used to love it when he took it from me, but I still gave him more no's than yesies. It would affect his mood the longer we didn't have it. He'll snap and complain. And when we did have his ex, he would turn it into a marathon. And I would hate it because I would be sore for the next week, and he would still want more. He would ask me to cosplay for him, and I didn't want to do it. However, he had no issues wearing the costumes I made him for comic and video game conventions, knowing that he really hated it. Our lack of sex was a big issue for him. We even went to couple counseling, and our counselor said my husband was a borderline sex addict, but only wanted to have sex with me. I then had myself checked out, and from my examination, it turned out that I have low estrogen, and was even given several medications for it. But it still didn't work. My doctor soon told me that I was suffering from female impotence, something that I thought was made up. The affair wasn't planned. It wasn't romantic or something grandiose. It wasn't something that happened. I was out with my friends. We're all married. We all go to the same church, and we were just bowling and having fun. It was the first time since the lockdowns we got together, and we just had a blast. At the end of the game, all the ladies left, and instead of going home, I went to the lounge so I could wait out the buzz I had. And that was where I met my affair partner. He was young, in his early 20s, and he noticed I was reading a manga on my phone, and we began talking. I wish I could blame it on the alcohol, but I was only buzzed. I wish I could blame it on being lonely, but my husband always wanted me and gave me plenty of attention. I wish I could say I had an unhappy marriage, but we were very happy. In all honesty, I still don't know why I did it. I mean, I know how it happened. We talked for a few hours, he flirted, and I flirted back. He walked me to my car, and he kissed me. Instead of pushing him away, I kissed him back, and we had sex in the motel next door. But I don't know why I did it. It didn't last that long. At first, he tried to have me go down on him, and I refused. We just went at it, and it was very unsatisfying. About halfway through, I realized what the hell I was doing, and I shoved him off of me, apologized, got dressed, and left. When I came home, my husband was asleep with the kid on the sofa, and I went into the shower and cried about what I did. I told myself it was a mistake, and it would never happen again. When I came out of the shower, I let my husband and kids sleep on the sofa, went to bed, curled up into a ball, and cried myself to sleep. The next day, I wanted to tell him the truth, but I was too scared. So I pretended it never happened. For 5 weeks I pretended it never happened, and I soon realized I was late. I took a pregnancy test, and it showed positive, and I couldn't understand how. My husband and I did have sex twice, but he had a vasectomy, and I made sure the night of the affair that man wore a condom, and even so, he never finished. I went to the doctor, and it turned out I was pregnant, which created a very awkward conversation. We came to the conclusion that the man must have removed the condom, and the doctor was telling me how it could have been the cum that did it. I was scared, and I scheduled an abortion. I couldn't keep this child. I couldn't do that to him. I was planning to keep this a secret. I got home, cried, and steadied myself for when the kids got home. But my husband came home early. I forced out a smile when he came home, but he was looking at me with rage. Our health equity emailed him with a new claim on the insurance. He asked who was the father, and I started crying. He repeated himself and asked how long was the affair. I was truthful. I told him that it was a one-time thing, and I pushed him off me, but he didn't believe me. So he repeated himself, but this time he yelled, and it felt like it went through my body. I told him it was the truth, and he grabbed me by the chin and slammed me against the wall. This was the first time he had ever done this to me, but his eyes were bloodshot, and he was fighting back the tears. He wanted to know the details. What we did, what he looked like, where we met, and then called me a SLT in Spanish before walking out of the house. I cried and had my sister pick up my kids because I needed to be alone when he got home. He didn't come home until after midnight. I met him by the door and gasped because he had a black eye. His shirt had bloodstains, and his fists were bruised. I asked if he was okay, but he shoved me and told me that the blood wasn't his before entering the bathroom and slamming the door closed. I sat by the stairs, waiting for him to come out, and when he did, he sneered at me and went to the living room. Again, I tried to talk to him, but I wanted to know who he fought with. But he ignored me at first. Eventually, he looked at me and said, "Who do you think I had a fight with?" I turned white, and he resumed watching TV. I went to the bowling alley the following day and asked around. Somehow my husband found out who the guy was, and they fought. Fighting in the alley is almost a daily thing in our town. It's to the point that unless someone is shot, stabbed, or killed, the sheriff won't bother showing up. For the next week, he kicked me out of our room and had me sleep on the sofa. I tried twice to sneak back onto the bed. The first time he yelled at me to get out, and the second time he shoved me off the bed. I just looked at him when I got off the floor, and no words were said, but I went back to the sofa and cried. On the day of my abortion appointment, he told me that I better get it done, and I nodded. I was scared to do it alone, and he looked at me with such hate when I asked him to come with me, and then told me to go F myself. When I got back from the procedure, there were pods outside the garage, and my husband and his friends were unloading the garage into them. I asked what was going on, and he told me that it was none of my effing business. His friends looked at him in shock, and I went inside. A few hours later, there was a lot of hammering, and I went to go look at what was going on, and he was turning the garage into an apartment. I tried to apologize and talk to him, but he ignored me. Then one day, I blew up, apologizing for everything, and that just angered him. He then told me that he was not going to waste any energy on me. He told me that if he had it his way, he would divorce me, but according to the many lawyers he spoke to, after alimony and child support, he can't afford to live on his own. So he was stuck with me. The first month was awkward because it was hard to explain to the kids what was happening. I tried to invite him over to eat, but he ignored me. He would come home, check on the kids, ignore me, and go into his garage apartment. The second month I begged him to go to counseling, and he went. But he remained quiet only to yell at me about cheating on him, and I had no excuse. Then came the gut punch. I learned he has been screwing around with a lot of women. I thought he was lying just to hurt me, but the expression on his face said otherwise. The counselor asked him how many, and he said he doesn't keep count, but said he has been hooking up with random women almost every other day for the past 3 weeks. He needed to feel like a man and feel wanted. He has been using websites and apps, and when the counselor told him that 2 wrongs don't make a right, He fired back by telling her that it wasn't two wrongs. I was the one who cheated, broke our vows, lied, got pregnant, and tried to hide it. He's just trying to adapt to his new situation, where we pretend to be the happy couple when we're outside, but are just roommates when we get home. It hurt me, but to me, I saw this as a way to still win him back. The following month, he began to talk to various women in front of me, and this time I had enough, and I told him that I wanted a divorce, and he laughed at me. He told me to go right ahead, but he would make sure everyone knows what happened. He will scream it from the hills, post it on our family's Facebook page, and place it in our annual holiday newsletter to all of our friends and family. That quickly shut me up, and he told me to leave, but I didn't want to. We argued and argued. It felt good to get some sort of emotion from him, and somehow we ended up having sex that lasted for hours. When we were done, I was happy. I thought we were healing, but he told me to get out, that my usefulness outstayed my welcome. I couldn't believe he said that to me, but I left. For the past few months now, it's been that way. Every once in a while we will hook up, and he will kick me out as soon as he is finished. He will still go out, and I know he's still hooking up with different women. However, we have been talking more, especially during counseling, but we're not healing. During one of our sessions, he told the counselor that something was broken in him. When he looks at me, he feels like he wasted years of his life and is now going through the motion. I asked him if there was a way we could start over, and he told me that as soon as the kids are old enough for him not to pay child support, he'll be divorcing me, and walked out. If he's so dead set on divorcing me, then why still go to counseling every week? I'm convinced that he's just saying these things just to hurt me. The other day was our anniversary, and our family threw us a party. He played the part of a happy husband, and I hated myself for what I did to him. Missed the way our marriage used to be. The way he held my hand and kissed my cheek during the party. Even the sappy speech he made, I wanted to believe it. When we got home, he put the kids to bed, and I tried to initiate his ex, and we did. But as soon as it was over, he got up and left. I begged him to stay, but he just ignored me, and I cried myself to sleep. I need help. I want my husband back. I want our life back. Is there anyone who has been through this or something similar who can give me advice on fixing this marriage? Please help me. Update. Am I a monster? I am using my possible ex-wife account to say my piece. I was told to post here. We're not as one after her infidelity. I'm still dealing with it in an unhealthy manner. When my possible ex-wife sat me down and showed me her post about what she did, I did not know if I was acting like a monster. I'm hurt, I'm angry, and she left out her condition. My possible ex has a typical autism with savant disorder. She could hear any tune and play it flawlessly. Just by looking at someone, she knows their measurements and could make them any clothing. When I met her, I liked her a lot, but everyone kept telling me not to date her because she wasn't right in the head. However, I was drawn to her. I loved the fact she came to school every day dressed in the outfits and costumes she made. I would talk to her every time about her outfits, learn about different anime and comic characters. It wasn't my thing, but seeing her face light up just put a smile on my face. I began learning about her condition. In the 90s, the internet wasn't widely available, so I went to the library and several clinics and spoke to many people familiar with autism so I could be with her. I wanted to do the work because she was worth it. My friends and family thought I was insane. Hell, even her parents were against it. But when we started dating, she began making efforts and was improving. We've been seeing the same counselor since we started dating. Mostly for her. However, sometimes it does help me. Yes, I had to make a lot of compromises for her. I dealt with a lot of her tantrums, and when she had a sensory situation, I dealt with her a lot because I loved her. To me, she was worth it. We were married a month after graduating college. She wanted a cosplay wedding, and I did it because it made her comfortable. Sex anywhere from 1 to 6 times a month, sometimes none at all. Her mood swings, and her obsessions with her manga. Or her obsessions with making sure our kids don't have a SD. I wanted more children, but due to her issues and fears about passing her ASD, I got a vasectomy. That messed with me for a while. I really wanted more kids. When you're with someone with a SD, it's not like what they show on TV. I watch shows like The Good Doctor or Atypical, and they captured my wife's ASD perfectly. However, the way their friends and family act around them is TV magic. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just trying to paint a picture. Yes, I'm fat. I'm 5'11", and I've been struggling to lose my excess body fat for years. I used to be a football player, and in high school, I was 250, all muscle. At the time of the affair, I was 228 with man boobs and a gut. The doctor told me it's stretched skin, but it does make me self-conscious when I look at myself in the mirror. My possible ex was everything to me. She was the only thing on my mind. I didn't want to masturbate because I only wanted her. The lack of sex between us was the main issue for me. Oral was basically non-existent. Well, except when we had adulterous sex. But even then she would go down on me for 10 minutes, while I could be down on her for 3 times that amount. Even then, when it was over, she was done. Round 2 or 3 were extremely rare. I can count on both hands how many BJs and anal I got through our 26 years together. I tried to spice things up. Tried to have her wear her cosplay costumes, but I would get yes to death. At night she would wait until it was as late as possible to then want to have sex. But by that time I was tired. I tried to get her to go on a hike so we could have sex in the woods, but that got turned down. One time I took off on a Friday and waited for the kids to go to school and tried to have sex with my wife and was denied. My wife never said I loved you first. She eventually stopped showing me affection. She doesn't kiss me first. She doesn't lean against me when we're sitting down. Everything is a response. Nothing was initiated, and I was blind. I loved her. Yes, I voiced my issues with her. Yes, I expressed my frustration. Yes, I tried to make compromises. And yes, I can be a bit of a jerk when I'm not having sex. But when you're the one who is constantly giving, and the other is just taking while making you feel guilty when you want to feel wanted, it gets old. Have I ever thought about cheating on her? Never. Have I had opportunities? Plenty. So when I got that email telling me that my wife was knocked up, I didn't take it well. I did put my hands on her because I was hurt. She was my wife. She was the love of my life. The only woman I vowed my loyalty to, and she effing cheated. I needed to know how many times. I believed her when she told me it was only once. At the bowling alley, I sat at the bar for hours talking to random guys about women they picked up at the alley. It took a while, and I found him. And then I attacked him. Was I wrong? Maybe, but it did make me feel good. I couldn't stand the sight of her. I went to several attorneys, and I was told that because she has a SD, and we have 2 children together, after alimony and child support, my personal income will be $750 a month. And I was told that it would be more financially beneficial if I just stayed married. Even a non-contested or no-lawyer divorce will need the same, because it would be the judge's decision. And I was told going that route my take-home might be $500 a month. So I converted my garage into an apartment. I treated my possible ex like SHT. Was it wrong for making sure she got an abortion? For me, no. Why would I want a constant reminder of her affair around me? I would have never looked at that child as if it were my own. I would never be a father to that kid. To me, that would be more damaging to a child. A few days after her abortion, I downloaded Tinder for the first time in 26 years. I had sex with another woman. I felt guilty. I had a nervous stomach, and I almost ran out of the room. But the woman made me feel wanted, and it felt good. Every woman I met through the apps made me feel wanted, and I went overboard. It wasn't the sex I thought I needed or wanted. It was the initiation and the affection. I know that might make me sound shallow. But when I said this during our counseling session, our counselor understood what I was saying. My possible ex kept telling me she didn't know why she cheated, which confused me. I could ask her to tell me about a random day in the years we've been together, and she will tell me every little detail about that day. And yet, this one slips her effing mind. I told her I slept with those women to hurt her, to make me feel like a man after she cheated. And I kept going because I was getting something from these random hookups that she hadn't given me for years. The times my possible ex and I hooked up didn't feel the same as before. It felt to me that she was doing everything just to try to fix us. Like she was on purpose, and I felt it. She wasn't having sex with me because she wanted to be with me. She was having sex with me to fix what she did. So I kicked her out when it was done. Every time I felt it. It's not because she wanted to be with me. She's doing it because she wants to fix our marriage. I expressed my feelings on the matter, and she was shocked that I said that. She insisted that she wanted to have sex with me. She wanted us to be the same, and I told her even if we start over, it will never be the same. So I began to start seeing a therapist. Mostly it helps me overcome this trauma because an affair is traumatic. It cuts deep, and it does make you feel empty. It makes you feel like all the time you spent together was for nothing. All the sacrifices made were a joke at your expense. In the beginning, I had my kids tested to make sure they were mine. I couldn't believe anything out of my possible ex's mouth. She tried to get our counselor to get her sodium pentothal so she could prove to me that she never cheated before and didn't mean to cheat. However, I told her it wouldn't make a difference. I deleted my apps and haven't done anything in 2 months. 3 weeks ago, my possible ex and I had sex. It was our 21st wedding anniversary. However, when we were having sex, I could tell she was doing it out of obligation because it was our anniversary, and I left when it was done. I told her ad nausea what I needed, and it's still not clicking. So I told her if she truly wanted to fix this, she needs to tell her parents what happened. I will not tell my friends and family. They will convince me to leave her, as much as they like her. They always had issues with her at SD. Her parents, however, would keep it between us, and they can help her if I continue to decide to leave her. My oldest is 11, and my second-born just turned 10. Unless I get a massive raise, I will be here for the next 8 years. That's a long time under the same roof to hate someone. Would I forgive her? I don't know, but I will never forget. I can honestly say I don't see her the same way. I no longer see this woman for whom I would do anything to make her happy. I no longer see my wife. I see a woman who broke my heart. They say time heals all wounds, but it's going to be a long while before mine starts to heal. A very long time. Update on how we're doing. Outside perspectives welcome. It's been 3 months, and it's been hard. Slow and steady would be the best way of saying it. My husband and I told my parents shortly after his post. We visited them, sat them down, and they were angry at my husband. They were angry at him because they told him that something like this would happen. Because of my ASD, I was extremely gullible and highly suggestible. That him treating me normal would bite him in the arse, and my affair proved it. This infuriated him so much that he screamed at my parents. It's the first time he ever raged at them. I had a sensory outburst during this, and I remembered why I went to that man. However, I was more concerned about my husband. He basically broke down while yelling at my parents. He cried for the first time since all of this, and I ignored the pain and anxiety that I was having to comfort him. See me do made my parents cry, and he excused himself, but I followed him. When we got him, I told him everything. How he approached me, the conversation we were having about Goblin Slayer, that I was only there to wait out the buzz I was having. But we were just talking about one manga after another, and when I told him that I had to leave, he insisted on walking me to the car. When he kissed me, I just let it happen. I didn't want this stranger to be upset with me, and I have no excuse. What I did was wrong, stupid, irrational, and plain selfish. I kept talking, and he just listened. I could see it in his eyes. He was so angry, but he refrained from saying or doing anything. He just listened. A week went by, and he began going to a support group for betrayed spouses twice a week in the next town over. I didn't know a group like that existed, but he showed me the site and the community center, and I even went to a meeting with him. Hearing his pain was devastating. Then listening to others like him was overwhelming. The sheer magnitude of it was crushing. Last month he was acting better and even came back into the house. We weren't back to normal. We were far from it, but we were finding a new footing. He even surprised me with a dinner date 2 weeks ago. Everything was going great. We were talking and laughing, and there was a moment. I saw it. I felt it. Then our waiter showed up, and it was him. The man who I slept with, and in a split second, my husband went from this sweet man to a rampaging beast, and he beat that man. I grabbed my head and cried. The screaming was too much for me. He placed the noise-canceling headset on my ears and escorted me out. I was crying. I thought he was going to get arrested. We had reservations. But the police never came to our home. He's been back in the garage since then. He's been going to the support group twice a week and seeing his therapist and our counselor. He's struggling hard, and I wish I could just undo everything. I miss us. Second story. Secret voices. I don't know whether to call him a narcissist or delusional, but he blames everyone else while forgetting to acknowledge his own wrongdoings. My wife suddenly ghosted me and sent me a divorce with a letter saying it is what you do for cheaters, throwing away our 10-year relationship for one damn mistake fling. Now that I saw her being pregnant with another man's child, how can she move on so quickly and get married? Does she cheat on me? I know. I'm aware of my faults. I know I screwed up. She and I had something beautiful. She is still the love of my life. We were together for 10 years, 2 dating and 8 married. But I made a huge mistake and cheated on her. It was just once, just one damn time. Somehow she found out. I never knew how because I haven't been able to talk to her since then. I guess she found something on my phone. I came home that afternoon as usual, and everything felt weird. The house felt emptier. I quickly realized that her things were gone. I panicked. I started calling her over and over, but her phone didn't even ring. Suddenly, I saw some papers on the table. She was divorcing me. Under the divorce papers, there was a note that said, "This is what you do with cheaters." That was the last thing I got from her, 2 years ago now. Of course, I called the contact information for her lawyer, who has been the only bridge between us. But he just told me that he was her legal representative and that she didn't want to see me. I fought, I got angry. But in the end, her lawyer just told me that it would be better if I got my own lawyer. I didn't want to. I absolutely refused to accept that 10 years of relationship would end like this. I know I have failed, but I always wanted to fix it. I know that if she gave me the chance, I could make that sweet and special girl I met more than 10 years ago fall in love with me again. I know that I can make her forgive me. After all, many couples go through similar things and get over it. Why can't we be one more couple in that statistic? Why, after 8 years of marriage, am I thrown away like garbage for a mistake? I don't deserve so much indifference. I haven't been able to see her, or even hear her voice in 2 years. 2 years of not being able to see or talk to the person you love the most is too much of a punishment. This situation has destroyed me emotionally, mentally, and even physically. I ended up consuming an unhealthy amount of alcohol after weeks of barely eating and not sleeping. I was a zombie for months. I was just functioning on automatic. I wanted to die, but I couldn't let myself die because I always held on to hope that she would come back. My therapist says it's really hard when you can't get closure from a relationship because your mind can't process that the relationship is over. So you're always thinking that person will knock on the door or that you'll wake up from sleep and they'll be there by your side. The divorce was finalized over a year ago. I'll be honest, I didn't make it easy. I didn't want to get divorced, and I still don't understand how we can be divorced. I asked for couples therapy, but she refused. I know from my lawyer that her lawyer advised her to go at least once or twice. But she refused. It took quite a while, but finally the divorce happened. I can't even describe the feeling. I felt and still feel like if a piece of me had been cut out. I know I hurt her. I know I failed, but I think we all deserve a second chance. When I couldn't take the pain anymore, I decided to start therapy. My therapist doesn't give me advice to get her back. He only focuses on me moving on with my life, encouraging me to meet new people and go out on dates. But I don't want to. At this point, I'm not even interested in sex anymore. A few days ago, something happened that completely shattered me. I was having a few beers with my friend at my house. Let's call him Nick. We were both pretty drunk. I started talking about my wife, and he said to me, "You should put more effort into getting over her. She's over you and is happy having a life away from you. You should do the same. You can't live in this self-pity all your life." Something in his words hit me, but not in the way he expected. He spoke with a lot of confidence that my wife is over me and is happy now. How does he know that? At this point, I got angry and started pressuring him to talk. He refused. I pressed as hard as I could. I cried, and I begged him to tell me if he knew something. I needed to know something about her. Until he finally told me his wife has been in contact with my wife for the last year. They were great friends, and I remember Sabrina, my friend's wife, being very sad about losing contact with my wife. The thing is that my wife went to live in Norway, got married to a guy there, and is about 7 months pregnant. I felt like dying. I literally felt like dying with this information. How could she do this to me? How could it be that while I was crying, getting drunk, missing her, and wanting to die every day, she was happily on the other side of the world, getting married, effing, and getting pregnant by another guy? How could it be that she didn't have a child with me in many, many years, to the point that I thought she was infertile? But she got pregnant by this new guy so easily. Where did this guy come from? I have no answers for absolutely anything, and I feel like I can't go on with my life without these answers. The only thing I can think of is that she had revenge sex with the first Norwegian guy she came across, got pregnant, and decided to keep the baby. Maybe she got married because she wanted to stay in that country legally. And I guess like in most countries, getting married is a good option for that. I don't know. These thoughts are killing me. I refuse to think that she is in love with him. I need to contact her. I need to talk to her. And I need to know what's going on, because she acts like our 10-year history and 8-year marriage are nothing to her. I need advice on how to act. I feel the impulse to travel to where she is and look for her. But how could I do that? I don't know what city she's in. I don't know where she lives. I don't have a number to contact her. She closed her social media. Her family is small. They don't live in the same country as me, and all of them blocked me. I'm totally lost. I don't know what to do at this point. I still want her back. Yes, even pregnant. I feel like this is a nightmare, and I need to wake up now. Edit. I read almost all the comments. And when I say almost all, I really mean almost all. It's hard to process all the crap that's been said about me. I feel like you guys forget that you are talking to a person and not an inanimate object. I thought I might find more empathy by sharing my story here. Just 2 people felt empathy towards me, and their comment made me feel better. I'm not looking for validation or for anyone to say that what I did is okay. I know it's not, and I have to live with that daily. I will try to respond, but of course I'll never be able to respond to all the comments over here. I guess none of you know what it's like to have a broken heart and not be able to get over a person. You don't decide who you love, and you don't decide when you get over someone. It will happen when it has to. Those who doubt my story, unfortunately, it is real. I would love this to be fake, but sadly it is not, and I have to live with this mess every day. Everyone assumes she's happy now. I don't know. How do you know? I haven't seen her in 2 years. I can't have any idea if she's happier or not. Being pregnant doesn't necessarily mean happiness, and being married either. We don't really know the circumstances of this marriage. Maybe she got married because she got pregnant and felt alone in a country where she has no one, and she just held on to the other guy. Of course I blame myself for this. This wouldn't have happened if I had been a better person and a better husband to her. But unfortunately, I can't change what I did wrong. The only thing I could do is try to make it up to her. But how do you make it up to someone who doesn't want to give you the chance to do so? Some people said that she doesn't owe me a second chance. That was hard to read, but I understand that maybe she doesn't have to. I never openly blamed her for the infertility issues. It was just a thought. We both went to the doctor, and in both cases the tests revealed that everything was fine. I never understood why we couldn't conceive, and the thought that she was infertile did cross my mind, and of course the idea that I was too. But in most cases of infertility, it is due to a female factor. Maybe that's why I thought that. Horrible things were said, like I would hurt my ex-wife if she were here. I never physically hurt her, and I never will. I am not an abusive person. I am not a monster. I know it's hard to empathize with me. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt her way beyond what I can say. But I am not a monster or a narcissist. Some people said that I never loved her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cheated on her. This statement doesn't seem fair to me. You think you can kidnap the concept of love and tell another person what his real feelings are. You think you are inside my head or heart. Only then would you know what I feel. You can't tell me that I don't love her. There hasn't been a day since she left that I don't regret it. No one can tell me this isn't love. Lastly, humans are more complex than most people here think. Just because I cheated on her doesn't mean I don't love her, or that I don't have feelings. I called what I did a mistake because how else would I call it? I thought part of accepting blame was accepting that was my mistake. But everyone here takes those words as if I'm trying to twist the situation when that's not the case. You've completely twisted my words. I know how much I hurt her. Maybe in my post I'm focusing on myself because I was never able to explain myself to her. Since then, for me, it's been one attempt after another to put together a story in my head that doesn't make sense. I lost everything from one moment to the next. I simply tried to be open with my feelings, but it doesn't seem to work here. Not for me at least. I know the damage I did to her. This woman left her life, the country she emigrated to, her friends, even her job. No one does that for a breakup, unless you're going through some level of absolute pain. I understand that. I can see and feel the pain I put her through, and that makes me feel even more guilty. Honestly, I'm going to respond to some comments below, and then log off of Reddit for a couple days until I feel in a better place. Relevant comments. Commenter. I want to know who you cheated on her with. That's pretty important information. OP. It was a radon woman that used to go to the same gym. Nothing important. It didn't mean anything, not even for a second. I was just being an idiot. Commenter. You don't seem to have any remorse for cheating. You just mentioned she somehow found out, so you were not planning on telling her. It's been 2 years. You need to accept responsibility for your actions and let go. She's never coming back. There's billions of people out there. Just heal and improve yourself with therapy. And I'm sure you'll get a second chance with someone else. You're only 35. OP. I do feel remorse for cheating. I'm a big mess right now, but I do feel remorse. Commenter. You may still be in love. She is not, at least not with you. OP. So love just fades away? Just like this. At the end of the day, this sometimes makes me feel like if I'm actually more loyal than her to our relationships. Meaning, she left, remarried, got pregnant. Looks like if she completely forgot about me, And I'm here sitting crying while I drink some wine and respond to some strangers on Reddit about our relationship. I still love her. But for her it was so easy over me. Commenter. If only half the people on Reddit had the self-respect your ex-wife has. OP, I don't blame her. I understand the pain I caused her. But I also think there are many couples who go through this and move on, especially when it was just one time. I never had a side relationship for months. I didn't cheat on her with multiple women. I didn't get another woman pregnant. I didn't cheat on her with her friend. Cheating is wrong. But are you really going to put me on the same level as a guy who cheated on his wife for years, or who cheated on his wife with her sister? It's not an excuse. But I'm asking for some coherency here. Update. Same post 2 days later. These days have been very strange. At times I feel numb, and at others desperate. A lot of things have happened. I want to start by answering something, and then I will update. Some people asked why Norway. I don't know exactly, but she is a polyglot. She speaks 6 languages. Many of these languages are connected to cultures that she always liked. Norwegian is just one of them. She has always been interested in Norwegian culture. She has been there before. But she is also interested in other cultures and speaks other languages. So for me, that was never an indicator that she might have gone to this country. Regarding the update, the first thing I will say is that the post reached some people in my circle. Sabrina's sister is on Reddit. She knows the story and realized it was me. She told Sabrina. Sabrina is angry at Nick for revealing information. Nick is angry at me for posting on Reddit, and because he says I pressured him to talk. I am angry at both of them for being 2 holes who watched me suffer for 2 years and decided not to help me. They didn't care about my marriage. Why should I care about their marriage? Sabrina could have given me my ex-wife's phone number a long time ago. But she decided to prioritize her friendship with my ex instead of helping 2 friends mend their marriage. Meanwhile, no one cared about my feelings. I'm done with them at this point. Regarding my ex-wife, I've been thinking a lot. She can't just disappear. I convinced myself that if I searched hard enough, I could find something related to her. I follow some of her relatives from a fake Instagram account, but I never found anything related to her. I searched a lot, really a lot, and found a name that I had seen before, but that hadn't caught my attention until then. It was a lady with a name that is not typical in the United States or my wife's country. She is not American, and a very strange last name. I went to her Instagram profile, and she had no pictures or anything, just a small profile picture that you can barely see. I decided to look her up on Facebook, and found the same lady with the same profile picture. Only her Facebook profile is quite open. She is indeed a lady from Norway. I checked everything I could on this profile, and was convinced that it had something to do with my wife. How else would a relative of hers have this woman in their friends? I saw a lot of pictures, people, plants, mountains, gardens, lakes, flowers, typical things that an older lady posts. Until I came across a picture where my ex was dressed as a bride hugging a guy. I had to translate the text. The lady was congratulating her son on his wedding. There were a few more pictures, not many. There were even some members of my ex's family in the wedding pictures. The dates of the pictures were from a year ago. A year ago, she married this guy. I don't understand. How could it happen so fast? When did she meet him? I honestly thought she got married after she got pregnant, not before. This baffles me even more. After that, I found another picture. It was a group picture, and she was far away. But of course I recognized her. The same guy was with his hands on her shoulders, hugging her. This picture was from February 2023. To be clear, she left in May 2022. How is she with someone in February 2023? Only 9 months. And she's already in a stable enough relationship that he's introduced her to his family. What the hell is going on here? I feel like I have even more questions in my head now. I know I shouldn't be upset, but I am. I know I lost her because I was an idiot. But it's hard to get this feeling out of my head right now. Anyway, for those who had imagined this fantasy that my ex is with some kind of Norwegian Chris Hemsworth, let me tell you, it's not like that. This guy is too tall, too blonde, and too pale, and his hair is too long and kind of chunky, to be honest. He looks more like the old cartoon of Vikings, and is definitely not a Chris Hemsworth. I managed to find his Facebook profile, but he has almost nothing there. His profile says he's an engineer. An engineer who wears metal band t-shirts at 38. I don't know how to take this because I'm an engineer myself, just in a different field. Why would she look for a man with the same profession as me? My wife has always liked heavy metal, which I always found nasty, but I never complained. After all, your partner doesn't have to have the same musical tastes as you. I mention this because maybe that was the way they connected. She used to connect easily with people who liked the same type of music. I don't know, but I honestly look at it and think, where did she get this guy from? I meant he can definitely do better than this. The pregnancy thing still messes with my head. I try not to think about it. I can't understand it. I'm not infertile, like the comments suggest. I've been to the doctor, and I know I'm not. But God, it kills me to think that she's going to have another man's child. I don't get it. I feel like this is beyond anything I ever imagined. And no, I'm not going to go to Norway. I'm not going to try to contact her. I still want to see her and talk to her. But I obviously can't force her to do that. I have too much to deal with right now and too much to talk about in therapy. If by any chance this post reaches my ex, I want you to know that I still love you. You know where to contact me. If by any chance this post reaches the new dude, I want you to know the only reason you have a chance with this woman is because a big idiot halfway across the world completely ruined it. You most probably met a woman who was probably very broken from her divorce. You took advantage of her situation and trapped her with a baby. You don't know how to play fair. Sabrina and Nick, F you. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.